Good morning, YouTube, and welcome back to the channel. This is IMAX Sports with another football video, and today I'm going over my 2020 to 2021 NFL playoff predictions. I've done one of these videos in the past before the playoffs seeding was decided, and I decided that my second video like this would be after the seeding was figured out. I'm going to be going through each of the rounds of the playoffs, predicting every single game as the previous round would have warranted. And I'm only predicting scores for the first round and the Super Bowl. For the divisional and the championship rounds, since I don't know what those games are actually going to be yet, I'm not predicting scores for them. I don't know what the Super Bowl is going to be yet either, but I'm going to predict a score for it anyways because that's more fun. So first of all, who gets the wild cards? So for anyone that doesn't know yet or isn't in the loop, the Chiefs, Bills, and Steelers and Titans are the division leaders in the AFC, and the wild cards are the 11-5 Ravens, Browns, and Colts. In the NFC, it's a lot more confusing. The top three spots are 13-3, 12-4, and 12-4 for the Packers, the Saints, and the Seahawks. The fourth seed is the 7-9 Washington Football Team. The fifth seed is the 11-5 Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The sixth seed is the 10-6 Rams, and the seventh seed is the 8-8 Bears. So the NFC has considerably weaker talent if you look at simply the records. So yeah, this is the seeding right now for the playoffs for people who have not been paying attention. So for wildcard weekend, we have Bills versus Colts, Steelers versus Browns, Saints versus Bears, Bucks versus Washington, Titans versus Ravens, and Seahawks versus Rams. For the wildcard weekend, I basically picked all of the higher seeds. Not simply because of the higher seeds, but just because I think that they're better teams. I think the Bills are by far my biggest lock. I think that the Bills are on a hot streak. Their offense is going insane, and I think that they could easily win this game by 10 points or more. Steelers versus Browns. The Steelers right now are up and down. They just lost to the Browns last week by 2, but it's because they're playing their backup quarterback. I think that with a full team, the Steelers would beat the Browns. They already have beaten them in the past, and their record against the Browns and the Ravens, who are their division rivals, who are in the playoffs, is 3-1, which I think is a very strong record in your own division against, and 3-0 with Ben Roethlisberger against playoff divisional rivals. So I can see the Browns winning this game, but I think the Steelers will win it in a very close, medium-scoring game. Titans-Ravens, I have the Titans winning 37-34. I think the Ravens could win this game, but I'm going to have to give it to Tennessee. The Tennessee offense has been insane this year. The only game that they haven't been insane was the game against the Packers, and I think that the Ravens just don't have that same... I know that the Ravens' defense is very strong, but their offense I don't think has the same type of oomph and pizzazz as the Packers offense does. Because the Ravens offense wouldn't put that same pressure on the Titans to score, I think that the Titans would be able to control the game better and win 37-34. In the NFC, we have the Saints-Bears. I think that the Saints will win this game. The Bears are coming on strong. Mitch Trubisky's doing well with this defense, but I think that the Saints will still win this game. The Saints also have a very strong defense, so I think this game could actually be much lower scoring than I have it. But I still think these offenses can score on these defenses, so I think that 31-27 or a similar score of like 24-20 could both be very possible. Same with Buccaneers, Washington Football Team. Bucks and Washington both have strong defenses, but the Buccaneers' offense is just stronger. Washington's offense has been improving ever since Alex Smith has become the quarterback, and Alex Smith has a very good record this season. Alex Smith has a better record this season than a lot of the playoff quarterbacks. But that being said, I still think that Tampa is going to win this game, and I think that Washington will be out of the playoffs in the first round. And last but not least, we have Seahawks versus Rams. The Seahawks, I think, are going to win this game 24-20. They were 1-1 against the Rams in the regular season, and ever since in the last 8 weeks, the Seahawks have given up an average of 16 points per game. I think that they're going to continue to do that throughout the rest of the season. And I think that they're going to have a very strong defense going into this playoffs, and I think that that's going to really benefit them because their offense has the potential to score. They haven't been scoring as much as they used to, but I think that they're going to be able to win games if their defense. Moving on to the divisional round, we have Chiefs versus Titans, Packers versus Buccaneers, Bills versus Steelers, and Seahawks versus Saints. I think that the Chiefs and the Bills are almost guaranteed to be in the AFC Championship game. I'm not going to say that because you can't really predict that, but I think the Chiefs and the Bills, out of all of the playoff teams this year, have the greatest chance of making it to the championship game. Because in the AFC, you have the Chiefs and the Bills in their own category. They're in their own world. And then you have a massive jump to the next best teams. In the NFC, I think that the Packers, the Bucs, the Seahawks, and the Saints are all very similar. They all have similar strengths and similar weaknesses. They all have strong offenses and strong defenses, and they all can have good or bad games depending on how the momentum of the game is going. That being said, I think that the Chiefs and the Bills have considerably stronger teams than the rest of the AFC. And I think that although the Titans can beat the Chiefs or the Steelers can beat the Bills, I think that the Bills have the clearest and strongest path to the AFC Championship game, and the Chiefs have the second clearest or strongest path to the championship game between AFC and NFC. I think the Titans could upset the Chiefs because that's what they do. Although they're not a wild card team, they are quite a wild card in the fact that they can win or lose games by a lot of points if it's a good or a bad team because their offense is so strong and their defense is so weak. So I think that Tennessee could beat the Chiefs in a very high-scoring game, but if the Chiefs' defense decides to show up, then the Titans have no chance. For Packers versus Buccaneers, I almost picked the Buccaneers in this matchup because A, because they beat them earlier in the season, and B, because both of these teams are hot right now, and also because of Brady's playoff experience. But I think that because of the MVP season that he's having right now, I think Aaron Rodgers will have the slight advantage. Both quarterbacks are throwing insane. Both quarterbacks have so many touchdowns this year, so many yards. They're both packing. And I can't really pick one or the other. These teams are almost identical in the way that they function, and the fact that they both have high-powered passing offenses with solid running games and strong defenses. And the fact that the Buccaneers beat the Packers 38-10 earlier in the season, I almost picked the Buccaneers, but I'm going to pick the Packers in this matchup because I didn't want to pick two upsets in the NFC. But I think that this game is a toss-up. This game is like a 51-49 Packers. And for Seahawks Saints, I think the Seahawks have the advantage, probably 55-45. I think that between the Seahawks and the Saints, I think the Saints are kind of a stronger team right now, but I would pick the Seahawks in a matchup. The Seahawks are, as I explained in my power rankings video yesterday, I think that the Seahawks, the way that they've been playing has transformed from let's score a whole bunch of points and pressure the opponent to score a whole bunch of points to, hey, let's control the game, let's win this game. Because what the Chiefs have been doing all season and all of last year is they would get an early lead and control the game. What Seattle's been doing is they've been controlling the game with their defense and making it sure that they win it with their offense. And I think that they're going to continue to do that in the playoffs. I think that recipe is a good one for victory. And I think the Seahawks are going to win this game against the Saints. Moving on to the AFC and NFC Championship games. We have Bills at Chiefs, and we have Seahawks at Packers. I think that both of these will be upsets. I think the number 2 Bills will beat the number 1 Chiefs, and I think the number 3 Seahawks will beat the number 1 Packers. Like I said, I think the Bills have one of the strongest, if not the strongest team in the AFC right now. Their offense is going insane, getting 40 points a week for the last 3 weeks. Actually, more than 40. They're getting like 43 points a week for the last 3 weeks. And as for the Seahawks, like I said, they've been controlling their games better. They've been winning their games, and I think they're going to continue to do that. Kansas City, I know that they played their backup quarterback last week, but they did lose to the Chargers. I think Kansas City's season has been a lot of close games, and I think that Buffalo has either won by a lot or lost by a lot, and I think that that's going to benefit them in the playoffs. I think that they're going to take that winning and losing by a lot of points and bring it to their advantage and beat the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game. In the NFC Championship game, I have the Seahawks beating the Packers because I think that the Seahawks are... I think that Russell Wilson's going to want to win it this year. He started off so strong at the beginning of the season. He kind of dropped off in the MVP race, and now I think he's going to want the Super Bowl victory and the Super Bowl MVP to go along with this fantastic season of his. So for those of you who have been with the channel for a long time, you know my opinion on the Seahawks. In July, I said that the Seahawks, I made a bold prediction. A lot of people were saying the Seahawks were a number 10 team in the league, or potentially lower than that. Probably going to go 10-6 or 11-5. I predicted them to go 14-2 at the beginning of the season and win the Super Bowl. Since then, my opinion of them has changed. I don't think they clearly didn't go 14-2, and I don't think they're going to win the Super Bowl anymore, but I do think that they have a very strong candidacy to do so. That being said, I do have them in the Super Bowl matchup, but not winning the Super Bowl. I have the Bills beating the Seahawks 34-31. How Buffalo has played the last few weeks, dominating very strong defenses with their offense, and their defense stepping it up as well. I think that Buffalo is the clear Super Bowl contender and Super Bowl victor at this point in the season. I think that the AFC, although has stronger lower teams, the top four are weaker than the NFC's top four. That being so, I think they'll have an easier chance at getting to the championship game, and they have probably a slightly better team than Kansas City at this point. So I have the Bills beating the Seahawks 34-31. I think it's going to be a good, strong offensive game, and I think that the Seahawks defense is going to step it up, but the Bills are going to be the first team in the last 10 weeks to score over 30 points against the Seahawks. They're going to crack that buffer. I don't think the Packers or the Saints are going to score over 30 against the Seahawks defense. I think the Bills are going to be the first one to crack that buffer in the Super Bowl, beating the Seahawks 34-31 in a high-scoring, close game between Russell Wilson and Josh Allen. If the Seahawks were to win this game, that would be the Buffalo Bills would officially be 0-5 in Super Bowls, and I would feel terrible for them. But this is my Super Bowl prediction right now. It is subject to change as the playoffs progress. But right now, I think the Seahawks are going to lose to the Bills 34-31 in Super Bowl 55. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to check out other videos on the channel. Like and subscribe if you enjoy the content. I post new videos almost every day except for last week. And make sure to comment down below which playoff game this week you want me to live stream. I've been live streaming one game a week for the past couple of weeks. And I think it would be a lot of fun to do one for this first round of the playoffs. So if you guys have a game that you want to see, make sure to comment down below. Or comment down below who you think will win the Super Bowl. I know that I've expressed my opinion, so I'd love to hear yours. So thank you guys so much for all the support. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.